nation's capital, where thousands gathered for the Women's March on Washington to protest for women's rights to the autonomy of their own bodies. After the overturning of Roe v. Wade last year, the Biden administration has come out to announce new abortion initiatives looking to educate the community on their abortion rights and to make contraceptives and abortion care more accessible. Black students go through an unimaginable amount of stress, whether that's from discrimination, racism, colorism, or honestly just the burden of being excellent at an HBCU. That's why it's time for you to bounce into some mental wellness here at Howard University's Mental Wellness Day. It is clear that this show has been a true testament to the excellence of Women's History Month. However, Stacey Abrams does not stop here. Let's go and see her personal account with the School of Communications. Inner city communities are disproportionately being affected by food deserts. Just like here in Washington, D.C. or Ward 8, those districts are mostly made up of the Black and Brown community. It is so important for companies and organizations to start taking a stand on how we can create fresh food and green spaces for our communities. It's about taking plants like these and turning it into something else like. In 2020, the national global pandemic shut down schools across the country. But now, 4 years later, the class of 2024 is here at Howard University and ready to graduate. Let's hear what they have to say. It was right here, at the nation's capital, where thousands gathered for the Women's March on Washington to protest for women's rights to the autonomy of their own bodies. After the overturning of Roe v. Wade last year, the Biden administration has come out to announce new abortion initiatives looking to educate the community on their abortion rights and to make contraceptives and abortion care more accessible. A large part of these new initiatives surround around education, educating our community about the resources and organizations available to provide them with abortion care. The Vice President has gone on tour around several states across the country to talk about these resources and to talk about organizations like the DC Abortion Fund.
Every single pregnancy is different, every single abortion is different, and everyone's reproductive life is different. And so people not having this basic information on what this is, how do I get it, what does it cost, what does it mean, because of all the stigma around abortion, that leads politicians and even activists on the other side to be able to get away with telling lies about abortion, spreading misinformation about abortion, banning it, and keeping it from people who need it.
The DC community will continue to wait for more rollout on the initiatives taken by the Biden administration to put abortion back on the ballot during this upcoming election season. I'm Jasmine Camille, reporting for News Vision. Of Bison students wait outside in the rain to be let into the Howard University exclusive screening of BET's newest show, DR from Detroit. BET Studios is now run by a proud Howard alumna.
I think, being at Howard was one of the best experiences of my life. I got great friends, I got a great foundation in education, and I felt like for the first time in kind of my educational experience that I was home.
After a concert by Cash Doll and a panel on the film, we got the chance to talk to the cast about the importance of Black storytelling.
And I just think that it's important for us to give back and talk to the kids, talk to the students, because we once were in school, and I think it's just Black and it's beautiful. The show is Black and beautiful, so it was just only right.
I really feel like when I did Blackish and I did Black AF, everything I've done, we always make sure to make our stops, and they always support. We show up for each other, and I think it starts with showing up for people who are in the play is going to be the next new voices.
The whole goal for me was to be part of giving us an opportunity, not just to sit at the table, to own the table, right? So it's about being behind the camera, in front of the camera, being at studios, at networks, and being at every single aspect of the business. And again, for me, it was about making sure that we can elevate and amplify our voices and our stories, and whatever those stories are.
For more, watch DR from Detroit streaming now on BET+. This is Jasmine Camille Livingston for Howard University Spotlight News.
Okay. Can I get an H? You know.
A major issue facing Washington, D.C. are food deserts, especially in Ward 8. These places do not have the resources to have fresh green spaces or access to enough grocery stores providing fresh food.
Environmental racism is heavily present in our community, and environmental health issues especially my family. We deal with all kinds of health issues because we're not supposed to be here. It's not a lot of access for us as is, just because of how America was set up and how we're just disadvantaged.
Activists are looking to use hydroponics to bring new life to food deserts.
Everything we do, we grow completely indoors, controlling the environment. So the plants have a perfect day every day. We can grow 300 times the amount of produce per square foot as a traditional farm, but we do all that using 95% less water than traditional agriculture because it allows us to grow to the peak of freshness, flavor, and nutrition.
Inner city communities are disproportionately being affected by food deserts. Just like here in Washington, D.C. or Ward 8, those districts are mostly made up of the Black and brown community. It is so important for companies and organizations to start taking a stand on how we can create fresh food and green spaces for our communities. It's about taking plants like these and turning it into something else like.
I have 3 children. I just care about the future of us and our children and future generations. In communities, we can come together and have this feeling of urgency, actually.
This has been Jasmine Camille reporting for News Vision.
Hey Bison, it's been a minute. Welcome back to season 2 of Run It Back, where we are happy to be here and excited that you all are tuned in. Since you have been gone, we've had a couple of changes to ourselves and of course to the show to bring you guys Howard News. Now I know with me personally, I did the big chop, you know.
Okay, big chop.
Yeah.
And I changed from a side part to a middle part.
Yeah, I think that's
a big change,
that's
right?
a change. That's a change.
Now, we are excited to announce that Run It Back will drop new episodes every week on Fridays, and our amazing reporters will be interviewing students and businesses on campus to hear your opinions and stories.
So be on the lookout for the Run It Back crew. Now let's run back topics from A to Z, and we do mean from A to Z. I'm Armani Washington.
And I'm Zoe Warner. This week, we are running back everything about the Howard community, the DC community, and what's going on in our culture.
During a worldwide nurse shortage, it is vital to recognize the importance of the occupation in the community. Young nurses are currently unhappy with their work conditions, and with 17% of nurses globally expected to retire in the next 10 years, this has created a gap in the workforce.
You have a younger generation that is not really willing to put up with what is going on in the hospital setting now. And so nursing almost is beginning to assume a new identity with a whole new generation of nurses coming in.
Since 2020, there has been a shortage of 1.1 million nurses in the U.S. And now with a dwindling workforce, Black people only make up 11% of these nurses. In a city like DC, with a majority Black population, it is important that we have Black people in these hospitals to be able to connect to the community and the patients they serve.
Because we understand our background, we understand our issues, we understand our disparities. When you understand those things, you understand how to give culturally competent care to patients that you're taking care of day in and day out.
We should all be collaborative. That is very important, and cohesive in working together so that we can support one another. That brings together cohesion.
Reporting from Howard University News Vision in Washington, D.C., I'm Branson Brooks.
Hello, people around the world. I'm Javon Scurry.
What's up, everyone? My name is Monet Heath.
And welcome to the inaugural episode of Ballin' with Bison.
This is where we'll cover all Howard University sports, some HBCU sports, and some sports and Black news as well.